Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Rahul Garg. Today in this tutorial we will learn how to implement CRUD operation on dropdown. Okay, before starting I would like to request you to please subscribe my channel. Now moving ahead, before starting I would like to give you a brief detail about dropdown. In ASP.NET there are two types of dropdown. First is static dropdown and second is dynamic dropdown. In static dropdown, we define list item on the web form design page, and in dynamic dropdown, we define the list item in the database. So let's start with static dropdown, and dynamic dropdown we will discuss in our next video. Okay, let's start creating a new project again. ASP.NET Empty Web Application, giving it a project name. Let's say employee 1. It's already exist. Okay, I'm writing triple E here. That's okay. Now creating a web form here. Let's give a name to it. I'm again giving it a employee name. Now quickly defining some fields here. Table tr td name td asp text box id equal txt name, run at server, copying it, pasting again. Let's say age, id is txt age. Now we are defining drop down here. Let's say country, asp drop down list, id equal ddl country, run at server, defining list item here, esv list item, text equal value equal, let's copy it, pasting it, select its value is 0. Now the country name I'm writing as India, value is 1, USA, value is 2, New Zealand, value is 3, Sri Lanka, value is 4, Australia, value is 5. Okay, now one button for save. trtd td asp button run at server id equal btn save text as save. Now firing an event for it. Now going towards C# page. But before writing any code, let's define connection string in our web.config file. Here we will write connection string add name connection string initial catalog data source integrated security let's write here dvcs initial catalog as employee data source as dot integrated security as true. Okay, now here we will define the object for our connection. For this we will add some namespace like using system.configuration using system.data.sql client SQL connection con equal new SQL connection configuration manager dot connection string dbcs dot connection string now here we will write con dot open con dot close. Here we will write SQL command cmd equal new SQL command. Here we will define our stored procedure name comma con cmd dot command type equal command type we have to define one more namespace as using system dot data now we can see here command type dot stored procedure. Now we will define our parameters. Now we will pass our parameters cmd dot parameters dot add with value, txt name dot text, txt age dot text, ddl country dot selected value. Now cmd dot execute non-query, and our connection is closed. Now doing the database part. Firstly creating database as employee, run it. Okay, then entering into our database by using command use employee. Now we are going to create a table. Create table employee id int primary key identity name varchar 50 age int country int taking one more field department. We will use it in future. Let's execute it. Now we are going to create a stored procedure for our insert. Create proc usb employee insert as begin and defining our parameters here as name @name varchar 50 @age int country int writing a SQL query here. Insert into employee name comma age comma country values @name comma @age comma @country executing our stored procedure, created successfully. Now copying its name and we'll paste it in our project. Here we will also write the name of the parameters like name, age and country. Before running our project, I would like to do one more thing. I have changed the database name because I have defined the database name in our database as employee with one E extra. Okay, let's run our project. Name is Rahul, age is 25, USA, save. Let's check it in our database. Select star from employee. Yes, the record is inserted successfully. Let's insert one more record here with Abhishek, is 22, country New Zealand. Again checking it. So our insert operation is done successfully. Now moving toward display. We will display it using ASP grid view. So writing the code for ASP grid view. Going to define grid view here. ASP grid view. Run at server. ID as GRD. Auto generate columns equal false. Columns ASP template field header text equal name. Item template and then percentile hash eval and the name of our column, that is name. Let's copy it. Here we will write age, here we will write country, now going toward C# code, defining the function for display. Public void grid show, con.open, con.close, now we will write SQL command cmd equal new SQL command. We will define stored procedure name here and then con SQL data adapter Before SQL data adapter, we will define cmd dot command type equal command type dot stored procedure, and then we will write SQL data adapter da equal new SQL data adapter, passing cmd here, and then dataset ds equal new dataset da dot fill ds. Then we will write if ts dot tables 0 dot rows dot count greater than 0. Then grid view should be filled, else grid view will be empty. Grd dot data source equal ds grd dot data bind function will be called here. Else if we don't get any data, then we will pass null to it. Now we have to create the stored procedure for display. So creating stored procedure here in our database, like create proc usb employee show as begin and select star from employee. Stored procedure is created successfully. Copying its name, pasting here. Now we will call it on our page load. I have mistakenly put parenthesis here, so removing it. Now running it. Getting compilation error here. Let's see what's happening. We forget to put hash here. Saving it again. Let's run it. We can see our grid view is showing data. Now we have to call our function after the insertion. Running it again. It's looking a little awkward, so first of all we are going to format our grid view. Saving it again. Yes, we can also add some designing to it by clicking on design. On clicking on this icon, we will click auto format. We can choose our template from here. There are lots of template. I am choosing it, clicking on apply and then OK. Saving it again. Reloading. We can see here. Now adding one more value to it. Tejas 3, living in Sri Lanka, saving its value. So save is done successfully, but we can see one thing, that instead of showing the text, we are showing here some number. These number are value of the drop down items. So to overcome this situation, we will do a little bit change in our code. Here we will write dot to string if the value of country is exact equal to 1, then it will show as India, else copying this part again. If it is exact equal to 2, then it will show USA. Else, if the country is 3, then we will show as New Zealand. Else, if country is 4, then we will show Sri Lanka. Else, we will show Australia, as it is the last value. Let's saving it. Now we can see here we have 2 for USA, 3 for New Zealand and 4 for Sri Lanka. If you want, we can check it by adding one more record. We can see here we have used Australia and here the record is with Australia, so everything is fine. Now I am going to perform delete operation. I am copying one of them, copy, and then pasting it here. Adding a link button here. Run it. Server ID equal lnkbtn. Delete. Command name equal cmd. Delete. Command argument equal hash percent hash eval and we will pass here id. Now we have to write one more thing here. On row command, firing an event. Now writing code for deletion. If e dot command name is exact equal to cmd delete, then we will delete our record. I'm copying it from here. Copy, paste. We will change our stored procedure name and removing two fields from here, and here I will pass id as we have to delete a particular record, and we will write here e dot command argument as it is string value, converting it to int type. Now creating the stored procedure for it. Create proc usb employee delete as begin and delete from employee where id equal, passing the argument here @id, that is the current id, int @id. It will delete our current record. Executing it and paste its name in our project here. Let's run it. We are almost done. We have to give the text to our link button as txt. We will write here delete, and we will write here delete. It's the header. If we click on Abhishek, we can see the data is deleted. Okay, now we are going to perform edit operation. For it, we will again copy this. Let's paste it again, writing here edit. ID will be lnkbtn edit cmd edit. Text will be edit, passing the same ID here. Now we will write the code for edit. Okay, stopping it again. Else if e dot command name is exact equal to cmd edit, as we have defined cmd edit here, so we will use the same name. Let's write the code for it. We can copy this code we will change the stored procedure name from here, adding parameters. As we have to pass the ID from here so that it can edit the current record only. If ds.table 0.rows.count greater than 0, it means if it is having some data, then we will pass them to the text box and their drop down like this: txt age.txt name dot text equal ts dot tables 0 dot rows 0 name dot toString. Copying this line, here we will write txt age, here we will write country, and here we will write ddl country dot selected value. It will directly populate our drop down. Let's check. We have done with everything, but our stored procedure name is still missing. Creating stored procedure for edit. Create proc usb employee edit as begin and select star from employee where id equal, passing the parameter here at the rate id int executing it, copying its name and passing it to our code. Running our project. Clicking on edit. So our all values populated here. Drop down is also working fine on edit. Now performing update operation, we will do it on save button. We will write here if btn save dot text is exact equal to save, then it will perform save coding. Else if btn save dot text is exact equal to update, it must perform update operation. But we have to do one more thing. If we click on edit, then the value of btn save dot text must be update. so that it is available for our update operation. Again copying the whole code from here, pasting it here. We will change our name from here. We have to pass here the ID as well, cmd dot parameters dot add with value at the rate ID, and here on edit we will also do one more thing. We will provide the value of our current ID to the view state, as this we have already discussed in our last tutorial, writing ID here, e dot command argument, converting it to int, copying this view state so that we can pass it here. We are almost done. Now we are defining one more function, public void clear, so that the values can be cleared after insert or update operation. Txt name dot text equal blank, txt age dot text equal blank, and ddl country dot selected value equal 0, and btn save dot text equal save. Calling this function after update operation. Now we are going to create a stored procedure for our update. Create proc usb employee update as begin, and at the rate id int update employee set name equal at the rate. We have to define all the arguments here on which we want to perform update operation. Varchar 50 age int and country at the rate name, age as at the rate age, and country as at the rate country, where id equal at the rate id. Let's execute it, copying its name, pasting it here. Let's run our project. Clicking on edit, changing it to India, just change to India, and here we will write ABC, age is 1, Australia, date, here we will write DEF 55, Sri Lanka. So friends, this is how we can perform our CRUD operation on static dropdown. I hope you enjoy this video. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel and share this video. In my next video, we will learn how to perform CRUD operation on dynamic dropdown. Thank you.